Let's talk about nailing that social media management interview. I have been in so many interviews as a social media manager when I was looking for a job in 2019, and I'm still going to do a lot of social media manager interview once I'm done with my master's degree. I have been able to collate the frequently asked questions when it comes to social media management interviews and also the questions you should ask. Most times they'll ask you, do you have any questions? And you don't ask them questions. There's some questions that you need to ask these people, someone that wants to work with that company. But let's talk about the types of questions to expect in a social media management interview. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Mastering Social Media Management. In case you're new here, hi, my name is Bolaji. I am all about mentoring the next generation of social media managers, and I am all about teaching anyone who cares to listen how to use social media the right way. So if you're new here, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and grab a notepad because you definitely are going to learn a whole lot from me. Now, social media manager interviews are designed to probe not only your technical know-how, but also your creativity, your strategic thinking, and your ability to engage with an audience. You need to recognize the different type of questions they will ask you during a social media management interview. Some of the frequently asked questions are: number one, the content creation and curation questions. These questions assess your ability to generate engaging and relevant content for various social media platforms. Expect that you're going to discuss your experience with creating content, calendars, how you approach balancing promotional, educational, all these different content pillars. These questions aim to understand your creativity, your writing skills, and your strategic approach when it comes to creating content that resonates with any brand or business audience. They will also ask you analytics and performance measurement questions. And the reason why they ask you these questions is, as a social media manager, they expect you to have a level of data analysis skill because you need to be able to analyze data to inform your strategy. These questions will test your analytical skills and your ability to use data to inform content strategy and also report to the stakeholders of the brand or the business. They will also ask you community and engagement questions, and these questions focus on your ability to foster and maintain an active and engaged community. They review your customer service level skill, your empathy, and your knack for maintaining a positive image for the brand or the business. They would definitely always ask you crisis management and problem solving questions because every brand or every business has a level of crisis that they face. So they want to know how you'll be able to deal with those crises as a social media manager. And last but not the least, they will ask you platform specific knowledge questions about a particular platform. If it's Instagram, if it's Twitter, if it's YouTube, if it's Facebook, depending on what they wrote in the job description, they're going to ask you platform specific questions. Now, how do you prep for a social media manager interview? Number one, research the company's social media presence. Before you go for any interview, make sure you've done your research. You need to analyze the company's current social media strategy across all platforms. You need to understand what their brand voice is, what kind of content mix they do. Do they post only videos? Do they post only graphics design? What are their engagement tactics? What their audience demographic consists of? And this will help you provide detailed answers during the interview. Number two, you need to stay updated on social media trends because social media is always changing. I say this time and time again, and you need to be aware of the latest trends, the algorithm changes, and the emerging platforms. They would always ask you about the latest trend. They would always ask you. And if you've done your research, check the latest trend in that industry of the brand or the business that you're interviewing for. They would always ask you. If they're in the fashion niche, check the latest trend in the fashion niche. If they're in the music niche, check the latest trend in the music niche. They would always ask you. It's like they all get their questions from somewhere. Number three, prepare a portfolio for your work. If you don't know how to prepare a portfolio, I have made a full video on how to create a portfolio. I showed you my exact portfolio, and you can also grab the template. Check the description below for the video and also the link to the template if you want to create your own portfolio. Create a portfolio that showcases your most successful social media campaigns. I think I'm still going to do another portfolio to show you how to like showcase the successful social media campaigns that I have been on. You need to include metrics, show them the numbers, because it's the numbers that would make them know that, okay, this girl knows what she's saying. Show them the numbers. Number four, you need to understand analytics and reporting tools. They want to know, what tools do you use when it comes to analysis? You need to familiarize yourself with the key social media analytics tools and reporting tools. There are so many that exist. Make sure to do your research. Also, practice. Before you go for any interview, you need to practice answering the commonly or frequently asked questions. Before the end of this video, I'm going to show you some examples, some questions and answer of the frequently asked question when it comes to social media manager interview. So you can use that to practice also. Develop a social media strategy pitch. It's not compulsory, but it just puts you on a higher scale or a higher level than other people that come, because not everybody will develop a social media strategy pitch. Be prepared to pitch a social media strategy for the company. This should include the content ideas that you're looking to create for them, the potential campaigns, and how you measure this success. I'm not saying you should give them a document. You can present it verbally. Just ask them, can you present a social media strategy pitch, and present it verbally? Something that you must have rehearsed, or you can hold the document or hold your phone and present it to them. Don't give it to them. Don't give it to them. Don't give it to them. Also, prepare thoughtful questions. I'm going to give you some examples of thoughtful questions that you need to ask. You need to have a list of questions that you are ready to ask them to demonstrate your interest in the role. To be honest, those questions might not matter to you, but just ask them questions. Don't say, oh, I don't have any questions after the interview. Ask them questions. It will show them that you've done your research and then you're interested in the role. So let's go to my laptop where I show you commonly or frequently asked questions when it comes to social media manager interview. The question might be, how do you develop a social media strategy for a new brand or a product? For this kind of question, you want to discuss the steps you take to understand the brand's value, their audience, and their objective. You want to explain how you translate these insights into a cohesive social media strategy. So you can talk about and reply and say, in my previous role, I started by conducting a thorough analysis of the brand's target audience and competitors. I then defined clear objectives for brand awareness, engagement, and conversion. I crafted a content calendar that reflected the brand's voice and utilized a mix of content types to engage the audience. We measured success through engagement rates and conversions, adjusting the strategy as needed based on analysis. With this response, you've been able to discuss the steps that you've taken to understand the brand's values, their audience, and also the objectives. The second question can be, can you give me an example of how you've managed a social media crisis? Because every single brand has gone through having a social media crisis. When you're answering this question, you need to provide a specific example of a crisis that you've managed. You need to detail your immediate action, how you communicated, the strategy you used when it comes to communication and the outcome. So I can say, in my last position, a product recall sparked negative comments on our social media platforms, and I immediately collaborated with our PR team to craft a transparent response, addressing concerns, and also outlining our action plan. We thereby monitored the situation closely, providing updates and direct responses to inquiries. This proactive approach helped to mitigate the situation and also maintain trust with our audience. With this response, you were able to provide a specific example of the crisis and how you guys were able to handle that crisis and what the outcome was. This question is very common. They'll ask you, what tools do you use for social media management? You need to mention specific tools in different aspects, maybe scheduling tools, analytics tools, engagement tools, and you need to explain why you chose that tool. So for this answer, I've said
I have used tools like Metrical for scheduling content, as it allows for cross-platform posting and provides a clear content calendar. For analytics, I prefer Buffer because of its comprehensive reporting features that help me track performance and ROI. For engagement, I use Flick to monitor brand mentions across the web, ensuring that we can quickly respond to any interaction. As you can see in this response, I was able to mention specific tools for different users. So make sure that you cover this aspect, because you don't just want to say, I use Canva for designing. You need to mention these different specific tools and the different specific aspects that you're using those tools. They will also ask you, how do you stay up to date with the latest social media trends and algorithm changes? There was an interview I went for, and they asked me, I had to give a specific example of whatever the current trend is. So before you go for any interview, I will tell you to look for what is trending right now in the social media management space, or in that niche that you can use them as an example. Let them know that you follow industry blogs like Social Media Examiner. Mention this industry blog, because whoever is interviewing you probably knows about these industry blogs. Social Media Today later, and I also attend webinars and conferences to stay informed. I'm a part of a professional social media group on LinkedIn or Telegram. Mention the name of the group, where we discuss the latest trends and the changes. When new algorithms are released, I run tests to understand their impact and also adjust our content strategy accordingly. It just shows that you are very knowledgeable about what they are asking and what is going on in your field. They will also ask you, what is your approach to content creation for social media? And you want to discuss how you plan, how you create and curate content that actually aligns with the brand's voice and the audience preferences. Let them know that your approach involves like a mix of original content, curated pieces, and also user-generated content. Let them know by saying, I start by understanding the brand's voice and the audience interest. Then I create a content calendar that balances promotional, educational, and entertaining content. Talk about what you did in your last job. For example, at my last job, we implemented a weekly Q&A session that increased user interaction by 40% and also positions the brand as an industry thought leader. They can also ask you to describe a time when you had to adapt your social media strategy based on analytics or feedback. Refer to a campaign that you've done. It just puts you in a better place, and choose a specific instance where you use data or user feedback to actually pivot your strategy and also explain the results. I can say in a previous campaign, our analytics showed that the video content had a higher engagement rate than images. Based on this insight, we shifted our focus to produce more video content, which resulted in a 25% of increase in overall engagement and a higher conversion rate for the campaign. They will also ask you how you measure the success of your social media campaigns. You need to discuss the metrics that you prioritize. Don't just say likes and shares. You need to talk about more metrics than likes, comments, and shares. Let them know that you measure success based on specific KPIs tied to the campaign's objectives. So you can say, for a brand's awareness campaign, I look at reach and impressions. For engagement, I track likes, comments, shares. And for conversion-focused campaigns, I monitor click-through rates and conversion rates. I use UTM parameters to track the performance of social media traffic in our web analytics platform.
Now, what questions should you ask in a social media manager interview? Number one, ask them, could you describe your company's social media strategy and how the role of the social media manager contributes to the? Because a lot of people don't understand what the role of the social media manager is. They don't understand. And this question scores your interest, that you understand the broader social media objectives of the company. You can also ask them, what are the key performance indicators that the company uses to measure success on social media? Let's know if it's by followers or by likes. These are the KPIs that they will use to measure what the work you are doing as a social media manager. Ask them, how does the company stay ahead of the constantly changing social media trends? And how is the social media manager expected to contribute to this? This question tells whoever is interviewing you that you know that the social media landscape is ever evolving, and it also helps you understand the company's expectations for innovation and also staying relevant in the digital space. You can also ask them, can you share an example of a social media campaign that you guys ran that did not meet the expectation and how the team responded to it, to help you gauge the level of support and collaboration you can expect from the team when you start working with them. Also, make sure to ask the company's policy on social media experimentation, because a lot of them do not want to experiment when it comes to social media. And social media is all about experimentation and taking risks. So if a company is not ready to take risks and experiment, that means that they are going to sit down your deck like this and tell you, this is how we do it, this is how you do it, and this is how you must do it. So you get to gauge from their response how the company's culture is, and you will not only convey that you're interested in your job. You get to that point where you say, I'm ready to work with this brand, or I'm not ready to work with this brand. If you need like a detailed sheet of all these questions, I'm going to link it in the description below. So make sure to check out the document, make a copy of that questions. I'm also going to add more questions I have found on the internet that can also help you as a social media manager. If you found this video helpful, take a screenshot, post it on Instagram. Let me know that you watched this video and you found it helpful. Let other people find it helpful. And I'll see you guys in the next video.